Welcome. My name is Nancy Cheney, and I am the Reading Specialist with Epic Charter Schools. Today we are going to be using Oklahoma Academic Standards for 3rd grades, English Language Arts Standard 3.2.R.2. Students will compare and contrast using plots or events, settings, and characters to discriminate genre. Compare and contrast is to look at various story elements for how they are similar and how they are different between two texts or stories. Compare is to find how people or things are alike. Contrast is to find how people or things are different. Let's look at the story elements. Plot or events is the sequence, the order of events or things that happen that make up the story. It is the storyline. Setting is the place, the surroundings, and the time period where the story takes place. Characters are the people or animals who are in the story. The main character is the one person or animal who the story is mostly about. The other characters are called the supporting characters. When you compare and contrast two stories, you can use this graphic organizer. It's a Venn diagram below. You would put the names of the two stories, one over each circle. Then in the middle, you list how the stories are the same, the characteristics, plot, setting, whatever that is the same, and on either side you would list the differences in these two stories. Let's look at different genres. Genres in literature are writings that have a certain style or form. There are two main types of genres in writing. They are fiction, stories that are made up by the author, and nonfiction, true stories that happened. They may be writings about people or events, and they can be facts and information. Here are some types of fiction. One type is dramas or plays. This is written to tell you what the characters are saying and doing, and you can act out a play. Poetry is written in a certain form, shapes, line breaks, and stanzas, and certain sounds, meter, and rhyme. It usually has short lines and rhymes, but does not always have to rhyme. Another type of fiction is folk tales, and this includes several different kinds of writing. There's tall tales. These are made-up stories with larger-than-life characters and happenings. For an example, we have a picture of Paul Bunyan and his blue ox, Babe. Myths are made-up stories which try to explain why things are the way they are, and they have heroes or animals for their characters. Legends are made-up stories of great deeds of bravery, of people and places in history, but the events may not have really happened. Continuing with fiction, we have fairy tales. Fairy tales are made-up stories with magical things happening, and they many times start with the line, "Once upon a time." Science fiction are made-up stories set in a future time. Historical fiction is made-up stories based on real people and events from history. Some types of nonfiction. Biographies are a type of nonfiction. They are written accounts of the life of real people and real events. They are written by another person and use the pronouns he, she, him, her, and they. Now, autobiographies are again written accounts of the real life of real people and real events, but they are written by that person that the story is about, and they use pronouns such as I, me, we, and us. Some other nonfiction articles would be news articles. These are writings about real events and people. Textbook articles. They are writing to give facts and information for science, history, and other subjects that we study. Letters and emails are written messages to other people. Instructions, directions, and recipes are written messages telling how to do or assemble something. Let's review. We've gone over some of the fiction and nonfiction genres that you may encounter. Now, in reviewing, number 1, you need to compare and contrast two texts, looking at the plot or story events, setting, and characters. Number 2, then with your knowledge of various fiction and nonfiction genres, you will be able to identify the genre.